So I'm Nathan Smith with Tallgrass TV. We're here with Scott Mansfield of Monterey Media.
Hi.
So, and if you would just tell us about what you guys do over there.
Okay. Well, I'm one of the managing partners of Monterey Media, and we have been in independent film distribution for 32 years. I feel very old now having said that. What we do is we do not make films, but we do all the functions of a film studio besides that. Making films is kind of a black hole. Theatrical distribution is a black hole. We decided to do one and not the other. So we look at about 350 films a year. We distribute 12 to 15. So there's a lot of weeding out process there. And we do all the platforms. We do theatrical, and then we go into cable video on demand, and then your internet video on demand, and schools and libraries and colleges, and then on into television. So we pretty much wherever there might be a nickel, we're trying to get a nickel back for the producers who, put their heart and their grandmother's money into their film.
Okay, so jumping right in, how has video on demand changed the distribution industry?
It's just huge, and it's particularly affecting independent film. I'd like to say it's affecting it positively, but I can't really say that. The best friend that an independent film ever had was probably the video store. Because people, there were actual surveys done, and people would spend 25 minutes like at a Blockbuster. Well, they didn't spend 25 minutes to walk in, grab Johnny Depp's movie and walk out. They walked that whole wonderful, huge new release wall, right? And they would see something and they say, well, what's this? And they'd pick it up and they'd go, oh, Martin Landau. I don't know this film, but I like Martin Landau. So they pick it up, they look, they turn it over, they see critical quotes or some festival, and they take it home for the second or third rental that weekend. And if they didn't get to it, it was $3. It was that kind of a mentality thing. So, and you would browse and you would discover independent film, either based on an actor or a quote or a film festival or something on that. So we lost two things when we lost the video store. There are a few left. God bless you all who are left. But we lost 14,000 DVD stores in 18 months. It's a huge, sea change. So the discovery factor is incredibly hard in video on demand. We're search engine based. If you don't type in the name of the film, one of the actors, the director, some way to get to it, you don't find it, you don't discover it. And then the second factor is on the internet, which is primarily where people do this, although there's cable video on demand as well, they're not giving you a lot of information. They're not giving you nearly the information that this wonderful little sales tool called a DVD packaging did. Netflix, wonderfully successful and a terrific person that we work with. You go on Netflix, it doesn't say Sundance Film Festival. There's no quote from Roger Ebert, the late wonderful Roger Ebert. There's no quote from anyone. There's nothing there but a synopsis and the name of the stars. There's nothing there to tell you that somebody out there thought it was a good movie and maybe you should go see it. Whereas this video package had quotes, it had film festivals, it had reasons why you might take the film home. So the internet is not doing us a service there. Part of the reason is because I believe that the internet sites are selling their service, they're not selling films. Whereas the video store sold films. They wanted to get you in there, but basically they were renting you films, And the other people are selling you a service that you're paying $8 a month. They don't care if you ever take anything. They don't care if you watch a thing, or you can watch a million things. It's a service-based business. It's really hard to discover independent film. You go to the I'm stuck on Netflix today, whatever. You go to the homepage of Netflix, there's, 20, 25 films up there. That's it though. There'll never be 40 because the homepage on your screen can't hold 40. There are little tiny images and everything like that. The average video store had 5,000 titles and 15,000 DVDs. We don't have it anymore. There's titles up there. Amazon Instant Video probably has 30,000 titles. True. How do you find them? You can't browse. Browsing's very difficult on the internet. The cable video on demand world is a different issue. Almost everything on there is listed alphabetically. So if you go on to, Warner Cable, Cox Cable, you guys have Cox here, I've been seeing the signs, or Comcast, which is one of the really huge ones, okay? You go to their video on demand service and you don't know what you want to watch. So you're not doing that exhausting type-in thing one letter at a time, right? All right? You just start with A and you go. Well, you're never going to get past D or E or whatever, and you find something you want to watch, you watch it, and you're finished for the evening. So a film that starts with an S or a T, oh my God, no one searches it would take you a long time to get to it. So you can't discover the film. Discovering the film is incredibly difficult. And then also the information isn't terrific there. Even if you got to the film, it would be basically a synopsis, the stars' names, but where are the quotes? Where are the film festivals? Where, people who love independent film, generally speaking, want to know that it was at Sundance or Tallgrass or somewhere else. It's not there. It's on that little package that we used to do. That's a problem that we haven't overcome yet. Distribution. And it's a problem for independent film. And the video store prided itself, generally speaking, on a breadth of product. Yes, they wanted a lot of copies of Johnny Depp's movie, but they had a breadth of product here. The internet sites have an incredible breadth of product because there's no barrier to entry, specifically to put up titles. They're big databases and everything. But you can't browse. You can't find it. You can't discover it. So you have a wonderful film with no stars in it, so no one's going to type their names in. Yeah, you have a problem. You have a problem trying to monetize that film.
So where do you see the industry heading, or how can the industry overcome the issue of visibility in the digital landscape?
I think that it can't. Not to the extent that it did. We lived through wonderful times with VHS and DVD, and there was a terrific rental base of stores, and a guy can make an independent film for a certain amount of money and have a good chance of getting a good portion of his money back. I don't see that changing. I see that we're all improving and working on ways to try and get to the public so that they will then type in that name. Okay, I don't believe that the internet sites and the cable VOD sites are working hard on changing the information they're delivering. I believe it's incumbent on us. So social networking is a big help. It's also been a bit of an issue, but it's a great help for independent film because what you need to do is try and figure out what the core audience is for any film, for a particular film, and how do I reach that audience? Well, we never have had an independent film that gazillions of dollars one needs to just splatter out ads and then you'll see it and everyone will see it, right? So we have to hit the core and try and find the core. Finding the core on the internet is pretty much easier than it used to be. Reaching them via social networking, having the actors' social network, having their friends' social network, you got a chance, to do that. The problem with the internet is twofold. It's taken a lot of our free time, so we're watching less movies, okay? We're just doing that. I have a good friend who's 65 years old, and he admits happily that he spends an hour and a half a day on Facebook. He loves Facebook, okay? 45 minutes before he goes to work, 45 minutes when he comes home at night, see what happened, what people are talking about, the whole thing, right? Well, that's 45 hours a month.
That's a lot of movies.
He didn't get more free time.
Right.
He didn't just say, oh, I've got an extra 45 hours this month, okay? So what went away? Movies, television, sports, whatever he used to do, his free time has shifted. So while the internet gives, in a way to reach people, it's taken away a lot of their free time. And so that's an issue. I'm not trying to depress everyone about distribution.
Yes.
But we've had to make a lot of adjustments, and it's an ongoing adjustment to try and figure out how to reach the audience that wants to watch the movie, but can't find the movie, or can't readily find the movie, or can't retain, there's been studies made that it takes 7 or 8 consumer impressions to get someone to make a buy decision. If they're a core person, it generally takes 3 or 4. Like if you're a surfer and I'm trying to sell you something surf-related, a surf film or whatever, maybe that's 3 or 4 impressions, okay? The problem is the internet impressions are very fleeting, okay? You get a Twitter from someone who's active on Twitter, they could tweet 14, 15, 20 times that day.
Yeah.
This is just one tweet that keeps falling down and falling down. If you caught it, great. So now you're stuck on, maybe you remember the title of the film and maybe you don't because 7 tweets later, they're talking about what they're having for lunch.
Yeah, sure.
So it's a wonderful tool, but it's not necessarily a strong impression.
Okay, yeah. Switching gears a little bit, what do you guys look for in a film that you distribute?
I look for, I don't have a thing, which I think is probably part of the strength and why we've been in business for 32 years. What I'm looking for is something that I can get passionately behind, either the story or the performances. Something moved me. And then what I'm really looking for is, can I get it above the noise? There's a tremendous amount of independent film available. I'm sure the Tallgrass people will tell you that they had, 500 submissions and they picked 14 films, some incredible amount of them. Toronto had over 4,000 submissions this year.
Yeah,
a new film. So how do I get above the noise? It might be the cast, it might be the reviews that we think we're going to get, it might be the festivals. More than likely, it's a combination of all of those that let me sit down with the buyer at, you know, Showtime or Stars or, you know, somewhere else and be able to say, this is a movie that needs to get past all these other movies. And that's really a big part of it. So unfortunately, you have to sit there with your marketing hat on. You just can't sit there with your I love this film hat on, which is hard because films are made from love. They're made from the heart. They're incredibly hard to make.
Yeah.
Hard to finance, hard to make, hard to get it together, right? You know, but then we have to take it to the next step. How can I reach the people, marketing, that may want to watch this movie? So for me, I just have to love something enough to want to put the time in to get above the noise.
Okay. Okay. Was there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think that's pretty good, I guess.
Yeah, it was excellent. Thank you very much.
It's my pleasure.